Hi, and welcome to Stamp with Ginny. Today I'm going to share with you how I did this triple stamping using the Healing HUGS stamp set that you can find in the annual catalog. I really am loving this stamp set because it makes quick and easy cards for us. So let me set this aside and we'll get started. Triple stamping is a fun technique that's quick and easy, but looks like you did a lot. You start with a piece of cardstock and you're going to layer it. This one happens to be 4 by 5 1/4. I've added a little snail to the center, and you can kind of take the tacky off with that with your finger if you want. And then I'm going to place another piece of Whisper White cardstock in the center. This one happens to measure 4 inches by 2 3/4, and I'm going to take a little tacky off of that snail again, and then I'm going to add my final layer, my third layer, and that piece happens to measure 1 3/4 by 3 inches. At this point I'm ready to stamp, and I'm going to ink up my rows with the Flirty Flamingo and stamp. And of course you're going to see this line. That's okay, because that is going to disappear for the most part when you add your mats to this. And I'm going to do one at the top corner, and then I'm going to do one here on the right side. And if you notice, I've turned my stamp slightly each time to give it a little bit of a random look. And now I'm inking up my leaves, and I'm doing that with the Old Olive, and I'm doing the leaves around the flowers randomly again, just turning my stamp to give it a little bit of a random look. Okay, now that I've got that, I'm ready for my sentiment. So I'm going to ink that up in my soft suede and stamp here in the center, and I'm finished. And I'm ready to start assembling my card. I'm going to take these pieces and I'm going to pull them apart. I'm going to bring over my Old Olive cardstock and start layering. So I'm going to flip over the largest panel, add some adhesive to the back. And if that snail is still sticky, you just want to make sure you're not placing it someplace where it'll tear another piece of cardstock. And I'm adhering that. And at this point I'm going to take my Old Olive piece, and this one happens to measure 3 by 4 1/4. And I'm going to adhere that over that blank space that was left by the Whisper White layer earlier. I'm now going to take the second panel I stamped and add some adhesive to the back and layer that on there, making sure that I'm lining up my leaves and my flowers so that the images match. So I've added that to there, and then the final piece of Old Olive is 2 by 3 1/4. Okay, at this point I'm going to take my last piece of Old Olive and I am going to adhere the sentiment onto it. There we go. And then I'm going to take this small piece of ribbon and I am going to place it on to the cardstock, and I have added adhesive onto here so that it's real quick and easy. Finish adding my snail, and you can use glue dots for the ribbon if you prefer rather than the snail, and I'm going to adhere that down. My bow that I've tied out of the Old Olive sheer ribbon is just if you haven't seen this ribbon, it's beautiful. I'm going to fold that glue dot down so that it just hides behind that ribbon. Place the ribbon on the other piece there on my card front and trim as desired. And there you go. So let me show you the original. If you'd like any of these products, feel free to stop by my online store. You can get there from my blog, Stamp with Ginny. Thanks for joining me.